Well, I guess I better update that thing, huh? There's a whole 2 or 3 episodes or something past that. Anyways, welcome to dropping in at Pipeline Audio number 102, and this is Vaporware No More. All right. So, what was it? Was it last year? The last time there was really a NAMM, right? Was it last year? I don't know, man. This is so blurred together. But we had 3 things on Vaporware Watch, I think. Was the Pod Go, the Line 6 Pod Go, the Neural Cortex, Quad Cortex, something like that, and UAD's, Universal Audio's Luna DAW. And see, Luna, I think people are using it. The Pod Go is definitely out, and I still don't have real answers on exactly what's missing compared to the Helix, but whatever, seems good. And now it's the Cortex is out. Let me pull this up. So Glenn Fricker had a video on the Cortex. What's it called? So Neural DSP Quad Cortex. Okay, there it is. Glenn had a video up where he went through it and, asking if it obsoleted the other modelers, I guess, like AxeFX or whatever. It's weird that you always get stuff left out of the descriptions. I couldn't find exactly what's going on, but one of the things that would almost always get left out of multi-effects was an actual harmonizer. Not so much anymore. In the last 20 years, it's more and more that you get an actual harmonizer in your multi-effects pedal, but a lot of them didn't have it. Several of the newer ones that people were talking about, I know this 11 rack, it may have a pitch shifter. I don't think it has a harmonizer. So I really wasn't sure what was in that Neural DSP, but does it have auto engage? I think it has CC ins, continuous controller ins. Looks really good. I mean, but it doesn't have a built-in rocker pedal, CC controller pedal. But so it says multi-touch guitar and bass modeler with capture technology. The capture technology sounds cool. I think Glenn did something where he captured one of his amps and it sounded pretty good. I don't really care about if it's multi-touch and all that touch screen and stuff. I mean, it's cool. It might be better, but I know that sometimes touchscreen makes things worse. Like let's say bias. Okay, so not only does so when you're on the iPad, it is a little bit hard. How do you right click or whatever? But to me, it's really important to be able to see the value of a setting. Like if your gain is on 6.5 or something, I would like to see an actual. Somehow, I'd like to see a readout. Maybe you don't have to see it all the time, but there should be a way where you can touch it or something where you'll actually see what the current value is without changing it. With some of these, you can see the current value as you change it, but that doesn't do you very much good if you didn't want to change it and you just wanted to know what it was for several reasons. And yes, mix with your ears, not with your eyes, whatever, get off my lawn. But in reality, this is kind of an important thing to have and to know. And this one does have its own buttons and things, and I think that the actual foot switch buttons or something are actually knobs as well. So there's ways to turn things, but I'm always, touch can make it worse. Like we showed. Not only does touch make the iPad version and the iPhone version of bias tricky in that way, direct entry and all that, because they want to follow the same paradigm, the desktop VST versions have the same problem, and here we are, a company that is very much planning, because we use Juice extensions, we're definitely planning on getting onto the iPhones and iPads and all that stuff. And we do got to think about that. Do you want to cripple your desktop and laptop, whatever versions, in order to make them consistent with the iPhone and iPad? Or is there a way to not have such a crippled interface on the iPad? I think I thought of a few ways, but, it's worth thinking about. So I don't know that multi-touch whatever is going to be all that important to me. The capture thing sure sounds cool. Again, though, I'm asking, are you actually okay? First of all, just how nonlinear is distortion? I mean, just how different are distortions? Um, when you capture an amp with this thing, are you really capturing the different amounts of distortion at different gains? Like, does it act different depending on the different inputs? Um, Line 6 doesn't do this, right? They just capture the EQ of the amp. I don't know that Kemper does this, though people say it does. I don't know that this does it. So I'd love to know. I'd love to know about that. But really, in the fundamental nature of distortion itself, I'd like to, I thought I knew a lot of stuff. I had read a lot of stuff. I've seen a lot of claims about the nature of distortion. But if you saw the video where I was taking our Intuition compressor and then just using the hard clipper on it and then running a couple into each other, then running them into an impulse response, it sounded like an amp sim like any other amp sim. So I'm starting to think maybe the distortion isn't all that different from each other. So who knows? But it'd be interesting to find out. This thing has a mic preamp on it with phantom power. That's pretty cool. Lots of amps. Plays well with your purchased neural DSP libraries. I'm not really sure what that means. Maybe the amps that you get from their web page, like the VST plugins and stuff. 2 gigahertz quad core Shark DSP. It's saying it's the most powerful DSP around right now or something. I don't know. Do we need that much power? I don't know that we need that much power. I'll talk about that in a second, actually. Audio and MIDI over USB. That's pretty damn cool. So you made a good interface. Again, it's probably going to be a Thesicon driver, right? But could be good. Wi-Fi module. Update from the cloud. It looks like really good stuff, actually. I don't know. I don't know that I would, it's scary to buy DSP, right? That should we really be buying boxes that can't really be upgraded, or can they? There's no reason that the power of a computer, a regular desktop, like let's say a 5-year-old i7, that's plenty power. That you got some serious longevity out of that if you're just talking about a guitar amp or something. So, there's no reason why these things can't be updated, but they never really are. Like, I've got a Line 6 Firehawk here. That thing was never really, oh, man, I'm going to bite my tongue a little bit. I would say that thing really wasn't completed the way it could have been. And you could still very likely make the thing a lot better right now, but it's not going to be. So who knows? Maybe these guys will stay on top of it. Looks good though, and for all the crap I give these, kind of give these guys a lot actually. The Kemper floor is $1,700. The full-on Helix, not the LT version, is $1,700. This thing's $1,600. It's missing a CC pedal. Oh, so is the Kemper Profiler. Looks like. Okay. So, this is in the same price range as the other stuff. I wonder, did they do the right deal with the dual path thing? So do you have a way to send a signal with the speaker simulator to your PA system and a signal without it to your guitar amp? I have a feeling they did. I want to not like these guys for a variety of reasons, but I have a feeling that they did a good job here. And, it's priced right around the same as the other guys. If it were me, I'd just probably buy a Helix LT, but whatever. Looking good, guys. Not total vaporware. So none of these things are vaporware anymore. So, this week, earlier this week, actually, I finally tried out some of those neural DSP sims. Now, there's so much hype and claims all over the internet about this stuff. Like it's so ultimately better than anything else, and it eats so much more CPU, but it's worth it. Okay, first of all, I didn't find them eating that much CPU. I downloaded the Nodus, I think, or Satan or whatever. I thought it was. I didn't really see it munching CPU. You know what? I didn't check the RT CPU. I probably should have done that. But in terms of total CPU, it wasn't eating much at all. I really didn't have a problem with the CPU munch on that thing. So yeah, it's a good question. Hold on, let me just make sure that I am broadcasting. Okay, so let me shut this guy up. Sorry. Okay, so I didn't see them eating that much CPU. What I also didn't see, and okay, here I am again. I must have no earballs. I'm just a crap engineer or whatever. But they didn't sound magically super duper better to me. I mean, they just sound like more amp sims. I mean, amp sims are getting damn good right now. And I am still perfectly happy with bias effects. Bias effects 2, bias amp, whatever. I really like that stuff. I know a lot of people hate that, but I like it. I like the sound of it. How about that? I have serious problems, and we've documented this to death about how the software works. The software could really use some help, but man, I love the sound of bias amp. I'm sorry, I just do. But we've got several choices out there. But a thing I tried out was the dark glass. It was like for bass guitar. That was pretty cool, man. I liked it. It's not like they say it's everything you need for a bass tone. I mean, I'd like some compressors and things like that. I saw something else called Mammoth, I think, that looked kind of cool too. But you know, I already got so many sims and stuff. I made some bias effects 2 patches for bass, and I'm kind of happy with them. But I was trying the TSE VOD and some impulses. I was asking around again. I probably, I asked for this once in a while. I was asking around again for some bass cab impulses with tweeters, and I got the weirdest responses. You know, a lot of times the Dunning-Krugers will get on and tell you, well, it's the same thing as not using an impulse response at all, ha, 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 ha. But, they don't know what the hell they're talking about. Tweeters have resonances. The bass speakers have, every cabinet's got its own sound. Shut up. Another one was like, I don't understand what you mean. Like, how would you do that? I'm like, well, just, you put a mic in front of a cabinet. I don't know. People are crazy, man. But I found out that Lancaster, Rosen, whatever, they have some impulses with tweeters on them, so I'll be trying those out pretty soon. Anyway, I'm not buying the Neural hype, the Neural DSP hype. The stuff was good. I didn't hear anything bad about it. And like I say, it wasn't really munchy. I didn't really test the if it has the same problems as bias regarding CPU and stuff like that. But I mean, it was fine. It was very limited compared to that stuff. I didn't see all the harmonizers and all the other effects processors that I'd expect to see. But in terms of pure raw amp tone, sounded pretty good. But not the hype. I mean, it seems like they got a separate $100 or $200 thing for each type of amp. In fact, let me just pull up there. DSP. So I go to the plugins here. I mean, I don't really know what, but they had a really good trial thing. So yeah, it's like $159, $139, $119, $119. Yeah, it's a whole bunch of different amps for like $100 something a piece. In terms of the labor that it took to get these, it's really not a bad price, but compared to the competition who will give that stuff for like, they come with several of these things for the same $100 or whatever. I did, remember when all the real hype was going on, was it last year or a couple of years ago? I did try the Fortin Nameless, and man, I couldn't stand it. But it kind of had that clanky sound that a lot of popular amps had at the time. So maybe it's perfect at what it's supposed to be. I don't know. I didn't really care for it. I don't care. I got my stuff. I like it. But that Quad Cortex could be, if I was out playing, that would definitely be on my list of what I'm looking at. I'd honestly, I'd probably go get a Helix or XFX or whatever. But this looked good. I would rather have a continuous controller pedal built in, but that's just me. Yeah, and then Tommy, I keep seeing this thing with Tommy Gibbons where he's like, he just got some picture from a Billboard chart thing. Like his stuff is charting, So sometimes guest on the show, Tommy Gibbons, so he's says tonight hits number 3 on the Billboard. Billboard what? I know he got like a number 21 or number 23 or something. Yeah, it looks like he's doing pretty good. Tommy's last single hit 21 on the Billboard Mainstream Rock Index or something. Oh, good job, Tommy. Also, I've got a new, for all the trouble we've been having with the Reaper users group and just, in general, hard to find information on audio engineering information on the internet lately. A place where you can actually ask questions and expect, if you ask a technical question, you will get a technical answer. And I will personally beat down anybody who let me Google that for you for a question that you obviously Googled for already. It's called Evidence-Based Audio Engineering and Reaper Refuge. But I think you'll find it if you just type that in Facebook. You'll find something. And I would love for you to join. I'm really actually thinking, and this, I know this sounds crazy, but I'm thinking of taking out some Facebook ads to actually build this group up. Like I say, I'm still very concerned for the soul of Reaper, at least on Facebook. The moderation there has been terrible. The amount of trolls and nonsense that are on there. I'm a free speech zealot, but at the same time, don't be derailing informational threads. I'll go make your own thread for that kind of crap. We're not going to have it over at Evidence-Based Audio Engineering and Reaper Refuge. So I'd love for you guys to join. Tell your friends, bring your friends. If you can help me promote that channel, I mean, if I got to buy ads, I will. I'm really not sure how to do all that, but I am very much thinking about it. So let me know. Speaking of Facebook, so there's a certain kind of money, multi-level marketing pyramid scheme, mega church, Jesus rocker type of Facebook group out there that says it deals with audio engineering. And, a ton of the guys on there are claiming, they have these $50,000 sessions going on all the time. And I'm, I had to ask, and I know you trolls get so mad about this, but I had to ask, where can I hear some of these $50,000 projects? And it was just crickets. At least I didn't get attacked. Normally when people ask for proof of that kind of thing, they just get attacked. Like the stupid thing that happened at the Reaper forum, and shame on you moderators, not the Reaper forum, the Reaper users group on Facebook. Shame on you moderators. They weren't even asking that specifically. But that didn't happen, but it was crickets. I didn't hear anything from them. And, I always get this weird thing in my head when I see these YouTube guys. They claim to be making all this money, and then the next thing they say is, "Oh, that's my my Neve 1272 what do you call it, clone from this clone company. I couldn't afford 2 of them, so I had to pick one really good one." Like, no, wait a second. You got these $100,000 clients, and you're making all this money. You can't afford 2 mic preamps? I got all kinds of mic preamps, man. I don't really use that kind of stuff anymore, but are you telling me you're making all this crazy money and you can't afford, like, I keep seeing this stuff. Like, these guys claim they're making piles and then they can't afford basic things. It's very weird. I wonder, I've heard with, the Super Sermon YouTube channel that spams the hell out of everything. I heard he makes like $70,000 on YouTube a month, but I'm wondering, is he spending $69,999 on ads and spam and hype? Because, boy, he sure doesn't have much stuff, and he sure is making a lot of videos constantly. Like, what's going on? I don't believe this. I don't believe how much people are saying they're making. I also don't believe that there could really be that many high-dollar projects going on at all times like that. I see studios with very low clock rates, booking rates really low. And so I'm wondering, if there's that many huge clients, why aren't they going to these super studios for that? And paying less than from these MLM types. So I don't believe any of it, actually. So let's see, what else we got here? Okay, so we see a cool question on the drum recording and mixing techniques. It says, hello, everyone. There's been a lot of talk about sub kicks recently, and I was wondering if it was worth getting one. To me, this sub kick thing is crazy hype too. Like, before the sub kick, what did we do? And you know what? There were people who used them. I was at a session of one of the R bands, actually, where he wanted me to bring in a bass guitar cabinet from the other room and put a 1/4-inch to XLR adapter on the outside of it so he could use it as a microphone. And it was pretty cool. But you guys act like you couldn't ever record a kick drum without a sub kick? Get out of here. I don't think you guys would know the difference. I think most of the people who buy this stuff, you could put up a recording with a mic, let's say 2 mics, and then another mic and a sub kick as a mic, and show them and see if they can pick the one that had the sub kick every time. I guarantee they can't. I like this where this guy says, the sub kick honestly seems like a gimmick to me. I'm sure I'm missing something. No, it's a gimmick. I mean, you can use it. We used to use it to make like car stereo sounds really easy, but whatever. I like this guy. I usually just generate a 60 hertz frequency from my main kick. And Reaper actually has a free JS plugin built in that'll do stuff like that. There's tons of these plugins that'll generate subs out of whatever you had. Let's see, what is when blending in a sub kick, you just whatever. I would use it for a slower rock band, not metal. For metal, not so much. That was my experience too. We used them to make like I said, like car stereo kind of sounds, like boom, boom, which you could still make without it. It was just fun to do, just because and to me it was a gimmick. I mean, I liked doing it, but it was a gimmick. So that's that. I think. Let's see. Oh, okay. So here's a question over at I don't know what they're going to call it anymore, because they're supposedly they're letting the SJWs change their names. So I'm going to get a Mini in order to reformat my Mac Air for work only. I'm running UAD, Acoustica, Plugin Alliance, Arturia, IKT racks, Tune Track for easy keys. Should I get the $600 M1 from Costco or like a 2018 i7 all spec'd out? If I were you, I wouldn't get an Apple at all. That's my answer right now. But who knows? What can the M1 run? Can it run all this stuff? I don't know. Maybe. There's a lot of stuff that aren't running on those M1s yet, though. Reaper is, but I don't know. I don't know. I wouldn't be messing around with it. If I were you, just don't buy an Apple right now. If you're gonna buy the i7 and then run Windows on it, there you go. So SSL unveils the UF8 Advanced Studio DAW controller, and this thing is bizarro, man. It almost looks like belongs in a rack. But what do we got? Expandable to a 32-channel control surface with integration for all major DAW platforms. Let's see. 100mm touch sensitive faders, high resolution color displays, 8 rotary encoders, 5 banks of 8 user keys plus 3 quick keys, 43 assignable keys per UF8, mouse scroll emulation. Nice. Control of any plugin parameter you hover the mouse over. Smart. Integrates with all major DAWs. I wonder if it integrates with Reaper. SSL has always been really cool about Reaper. That's actually, that was a lot of encouragement when we were first getting it going, because they really were. Powered by a Mac PC application. Includes SSL native vocal strip and 2 drum strip plugins. And, those are probably well integrated into the controller. Let's see, $1,300 a piece. I mean, looks cool. Let's see what people are saying. Seems like people are liking it. Looks cool to me. If you're gonna stick a whole bunch of them together, wow, that's kind of cool. Yeah, that's right. So somebody's showing the center sections all taken apart. Anyway, so that looks cool. So okay, here's another one. Rupert Neve Designs announces 5057 Orbit 16-channel summing mixer. So here you go. Looks like DB25 maybe input. Let's see, is that what they say? Yeah, two DB25, two DB25 connectors. So those are for 16. So this is like Tascam format, probably. If you remember the D88's analog line-ins on these D subs instead of the Elcos. So it sums 16 channels to 2 channels. How many times are we going to bring these ones up? I just don't know. I mean, if you really believe that there's something there, then go for it. I like this. I thought the summing mixer fad had been and gone. At least that's the impression I get. I guess there's still a few followers. And I just don't. I mean, do you really? How many times have we done this one, right? The analog sum versus the in the box sum. I mean, what is it? What is it that you want? So, here's the thing. Don't you love when they say, here's the thing? That's almost always some apologetic about to come out. But let's just look at this. Your job of summing is to add the two signals together. Do you want the two signals added together and get the result of them being added together? Or do you want them added together plus something else happen to them, like a phase change, a frequency response change, a bandwidth change, a noise change, or a distortion change? I can appreciate that you might want it changed, but can you say what that change is? What change would you like universally applied to your stuff? And if you already know that, it sounds like you could just put that on your master of your mix bus anyway. So I think this summing mixer stuff is just malarkey to me. I mean, if you're using this, you can get some inserts in there. That's a whole nother debate and can of worms, but I just don't see it. So anyway. Okay, over at TGP, somebody's wanting to know, is he going to get a RME Babyface Pro versus a Scarlett Solo or a Soundcraft Signature 22? To me, it's about drivers. If you care about your drivers, you're going to get the RME every time. There's no other choice there. But in terms of sound, again, never mind the ergonomics and the ease and the safety of using the RME stuff. Let's get rid of that. But let's talk about the sound. If you're really serious about the Babyface, get the Babyface Pro FS, since it has even less jitter, better converters, and upgraded audio output, better than the previous Babyface Pro, which was already very good. I'm still gonna say it. I don't think I'd love for somebody to show me jitter that's even gonna matter in a real world. Converter quality. I mean, this stuff is so good already, man. It's hard to say it's gonna be better. Yeah, so I like that somebody said, can you describe what's different to you? Because it's probably, I got the guy on ignore, who knows why, but you always hear these guys say it's so much better on this one, and it turns out that they have no idea what the hell they're talking about, or they've never measured it. Remember, how many shows have we done on this where I've actually measured this stuff, and seeing what it really comes down to, so Yeah, I don't know. Well, we shall see. So let's see, where is it? I like this answer. If you already have the solo, you may not hear all that much difference unless you really know what you're listening for or can measure it. Your money would probably be better spent on microphones. Yeah, probably. So anyway, okay, another fun one. So this is over at the like, I don't know if it's the Andy Sneap or Ultimate Metal or whatever, and these guys are like, here's this guy. It's a pickup suggestion in an alder body. So a guy wants to try a new bridge pickup in his maple neck alder body guitar. Presently, it's a bit on the muddy side. I know there's been a lot of discussion on this, but I still like some. I'm going for a modern metal sound. He wants a Jeff Beck or an EMG 8185, but I've noticed that these pickups often get rave reviews from users of guitars built of mahogany. I know many of you believe that alder as a wood for guitar is not too good, but as one aspect I can't change at the moment. And so all these guys are, let's see, there's some guys that aren't completely crazy. Let's see, but what have we meatheads got? Yeah, I'll take the blackouts. Custom in an alder body? Isn't the custom similar to a JB, which is perfect for mahogany, but may sound too trebly harsh in alder? Oh my god. I've heard a lot of people say that 85 in the bridge sounds awesome, but most had a mahogany guitar. Someone said that for alder, an 81 in the bridge would be a better option. I mean, come on, guys. Are you serious? Let's see. Yeah, anyway, so, you know, I suggested to somebody to suggest that you guys in your tone wood, you're crazy. You know, we keep saying it. I told them to say, pick up suggestions. I suggest not taking suggestions from people who think that the species of wood a solid body electric guitar is made of would suggest which electrical pickup to use. Come at me, Tonewood nuts. I'm fine with that. Okay, so on 7-string, where we are on 7string.org. Here, what's the best VST reverb for room simulation? I want to add one after the amp section simulation for playing with headphones so it will sound and feel more like playing through speakers in room. Okay, so here's a couple problems here. I have never, ever, even in gigantic George Augsburger main speakers, ever felt like being in the room with the guitar amp when I'm playing it. Ever. Never, ever. Not even close. So I don't think you're going to get that. What is weird is that you would think that if it sounds good in the room with you, it should sound good recorded. And then we throw that out the window by sticking the mic right up there at the grill where none of us listen to it. You listen to the amp with your ear in the grill? I don't think so. So where we record amps, it's a much different place. So the idea is you should be able to go into a room, throw an Omni mic up right where you're standing, or okay, how about a Jacklin disc or something? Play your guitar, and if it sounded good in the room with you, it should sound good on that recording. It never does. It's a weird thing. So, get that part out of your head. But, the first answer that goes there, I think you might need a convolution reverb. Bingo. I really think that's the way to go. You can get any room you can think of, and it's a very, very convincing thing. I love convolution stuff. So, of course, I don't know what to call it. Not sheeple, but they see an ad, they see a bunch of hypers talking about stuff, and then they just parrot it. So, of course, just from last week, right? You could try the Waves NX stuff for that. It's supposed to make headphones sound like a control room. No, that's not what you want to use. That's not what he's saying at all. T-Rack Sunset Sound is a great convo reverb, and Ocean Wave Studios is incredible if you have UAD. Waves IR1 is great value too. But you know, you can go get SIR1 for free. There's tons of free Impulse players out there. Just go get a free one and do some of that. Another guy, pretty cool, put a 57 and a 58 on for tracking guitars. Put out a video. What's his name? Thomas VB. Let's see what the YouTube channel is called. T Heaven? I don't know. So everybody's screaming, of course, 57, way better, 57. You know, whatever, man. If you can't, it's so weird. It's like you can almost predict the response. But, you know, if you can't make the 58 work, you're in trouble anyway. Okay. It's a neat video. Go check it out. Okay. Now, over at HR, the thread's called Audio Interface Latency. The guy says, I'm starting in home recording world. I'm very confused. Last year I bought a mixer from Behringer thinking I could record from there into my DAW. Now I know that I need an audio interface. Does a cheap interface like the Focusrite Scarlett 8i6 monitor the process plugins audio from PC, have enough low latency to record a track while listening to another previously recorded? I would love to record my songs in my home, but I'm starting to think this is impossible. Edit, I was searching for other interfaces and found M Audio, Fast Track Ultra. Old interfaces have more latency or it's the same. So, to answer a couple of these. First of all, I don't know what Behringer mixer you had. You might have one that's actually an interface. I think those didn't have real ASIO drivers, but you know, you could use them in a pinch. Does a cheap interface like Focusrite Scarlett 8i6 monitor the process plugins audio from this PC? It can. It certainly can. Have low enough latency to record a track while listening to another previously recorded. Okay, that's up to you. How many episodes have we had where we talk about round trip latency? So I tell people who own these devices, just turn that direct monitoring off. Just monitor through your DAW, just like you're hearing all the effects through it and stuff. In general, if that latency is under 13 milliseconds, I don't hear very many people complain. There are some. There's a lot of people who just are shills and marketing hype pure whatever guys that are total latency purists, and you'll never please them with zero latency, even though they're happy to play through 20 milliseconds of latency through their iPhones. So, but anyway, if you're among the people who are okay with less than 13 milliseconds latency and monitoring through your, I mean, I play guitar through that stuff and I'm fine. You know, I'm not Tommy Gibbons, but I will hold my own on the guitar. So I'm not getting hurt by that. So yeah, you can definitely do this. You're fine. So let's see what, I like this answer. Latency has many causes, and hardware drivers can be part of it, but unless you've got a pretty old, slow computer, you should be able to record at home. Lots of people are doing it. And it's a good thing to say. Remember, like all you guys that are talking about these brand new computers and stuff, the computers we recorded hundreds of albums on were nothing compared to a computer you could get in the last 10 years. The computer I just replaced was a 3770. I don't know when those came out. That was a while back. That's a much older CPU. And that thing was doing just fine until I got some crazy laptop that made it feel bad. But, you know, you could still use it just fine. Anyway, I'm going to talk about direct monitoring. But, yeah, you can definitely use that Focusrite to do that. You know, if you're really worried about latency, again, sound like a stuck record, go buy an RME. It's going to annihilate that thing. What are we doing? Need new DAW software. Suggestions, please. I don't record complicated projects. 48 tracks, mostly guitars. Sometimes go months without using the software, so I don't want to remember, keystrokes. And, you know, gee, what would I say? I would say go try Reaper. And seems like a lot of Reaper guys in here, so that's cool. So, yeah, Reaper. Here's a thread. Alternative to UAD Apollo. You know where this is going. Hello, everyone. I'm helping a tech challenge friend with upgrading his interface from a Scarlett to something better. It's been a while, but after some research, I thought a UAD Apollo Twin or Duo would suit his needs. I think the ability to have plugins run on the hardware while tracking would limit latency issues. Nope. He gets a bit frustrated with the text-sided recording, so I'm trying to limit any difficulties. Okay. We'll go back. He went to order an Apollo today, and the sales rep at Sweetwater told him the Apollos don't play well with the AMD Ryzen chips. He has a Ryzen 7. So he said UAD guys are saying that same thing. I'm aware of RME, of course, but I haven't looked at anything new about 3 years. Does any other manufacturers have at least 2 mic input interface with onboard effects like the UAD? If not, other than RME, what brands make good quality interfaces? Okay, first of all, what's better? What are you talking about better? I don't think that you're really going to get better round trip latency with the UAD than the Scarlett. I don't think it's going to sound any better. I really doubt it. You guys can go measure this stuff. I have. I don't think you're going to find anything. The ability to have plugins run on the hardware while tracking would limit latency issues. I don't listen. Okay, I don't know that the plugins actually run on hardware. In all my experience with the Universal Audio stuff, it's taken more CPU to run the plugin than it would have just been to run the plugin natively. And then there's some kind of latency to get to that DSP chip and back. And there's a lot of limitations about how that works. He gets a bit frustrated with the text-sided recording. Yeah, then don't get a UAD. Listen, Universal Audio, if you ever want to make nice with me, maybe we can talk. But I definitely wouldn't recommend this kind of stuff. You want something good, get an RME. Just get RME. Don't worry about that. Let's see. UAD's plate and investment. The only plugins you can offload to the Apollo are UAD plugins. So in order to get the benefit, you need to use their plugins. And yeah, it's proprietary. Yeah, I wouldn't bother. Get the RME. Another guy saying that he's got a Ryzen and he's fine. I don't care. You want an alternative to UAD? I'd tell you just about anything else. Just about. But you want something good, get an RME. Here's another one. So here's Reddit. Old Mac Pro finally bit the dust. Wait on the rumored iMac 21 refresh or nah? Nah. Get something you can run Windows on and get an i7. Forget that. That M1 stuff is, like I said, it's probably really cool, but not yet. And don't get a Mac, man. Save yourself the pain. Okay. So here's in Reaper. A question of upgrades. Hello, fellow producers. I'm relatively new to Reaper, and I've been using it as a way to track guitars and reamp them with Helix Native. I'm incredibly new to producing, and there's a sizable amount of latency. And of course, when I lower the buffer, there's a large crackle. I use a laptop to produce, so changing out the CPU isn't an option. But should I upgrade the RAM to 32 gigabytes to fix this? No! Unless you're really running out of RAM. Are you sure you're running out of RAM? I doubt you are. I don't have 32 gigs of RAM. Yeah, okay, so I like this answer. Depends on what you have, but amp sims are CPU bound, so more RAM won't do a damn thing unless you're also running a ton of VSTs as well, which you shouldn't when tracking. I don't know about that. Check your drivers and configuration. So what I'm wondering is, yeah, okay, so he says this. All that said, even with 15-year-old hardware that wasn't high-end, you can get reasonable latencies. Unless your rig is literally a potato, you probably don't need any upgrades. Notice, did he say what interface he had? He says he's using Helix Native, not Helix. So who knows what interface he's got right here, right? He could be trying to run some super low latencies with his onboard sound. So there you go. Yeah, but don't, all this talk about RAM, if you got 4 gigs of RAM, yes, go upgrade. If you got 8 gigs, maybe. If you got 16 or 24, I doubt you're going to really have problems. Okay, that's all the really good ones. Ooh, this has been long, actually. Hey, anyways, please join Evidence-Based Audio Engineering and Reaper Refuge, and we'll see you guys next week. Goodbye.